Jack Twist. Jack Nasty. Brokeback Mountain is an American neo-Western romantic drama directed by Ang Lee, written by Diana Osana and Larry McMurtry, based on the 1997 short story by Annie Proulx. On a $14 million budget, the film grossed $179 million worldwide.
Damn!
If only queer films could do those numbers today, right? I'm unsure when the first time I watched this film was. I can't recount if I knew what happens at the end or not, but wow. We will get into the gay trauma of it all. And although in spirit, this is a very tragic story, I don't find it hard to watch as something I do with, say, Moonlight, which I've done an essay on. Definitely check that out if you haven't. I love Moonlight with all of my heart, but that is a movie that I have to space my viewings out. I cannot watch that movie often because of how heavy it is. Unfortunately, the night of the 2006 Academy Awards, there was quite a stir when Crash beat out Brokeback Mountain for Best Picture, which a lot of people were gagged and upset about. Crash has kind of become the film that stole Brokeback Mountain's Oscar, right? And although I have not seen Crash for myself, I believe it.
Believe it, I do.
This feels like a film that won Best Picture. Ang Lee won Best Director that night and openly expressed his disappointment that not only the film didn't win Best Picture, but Heath Ledger didn't win Best Actor. Crazy that the film was banned in China, yet the Chinese media still openly celebrated Ang Lee's Oscar win. Goddamn shame. This year will mark its 21st anniversary, and I figured for Pride Month, we needed to talk about one of the most culturally significant queer films ever made. Some of you might roll your eyes because this is a story about two white men, but hey, all I'm gonna say is look at the box office numbers, look at its award nominations, and look at the impact. Everybody knows this film, whether you have seen it or not, and I don't care how you feel politically about it. Let me say this, I get it. I do. Gay cinema is plagued with predominantly white representation, right? And if it's not two white guys, then it's interracial, and you bet that one of them is going to be white. And that's the world we live in. But unlike the newer stuff that comes out now that I just truly could not give a shit about, this film genuinely is still incredible, and I think it still holds up. I am very excited to talk about this one with you, and I hope you enjoy it. The film opens on an extreme wide shot with a title card, seeing a tractor trailer cruise through this deserted joint, and then the passenger is our protagonist, Ennis Delmar. Now, we reside in 1963 Wyoming, the goddamn boonies. While Ennis waits outside a trailer, a black GMC rolls up and we meet our second lead, Jack Twist. There is a lot of silence in this film, and I'll get that out the way now, and it takes quite a while for our characters to say anything to each other. The next man to arrive is the boss, Joe. So the reason Ennis and Jack are here is for a job that includes herding a massive flock of sheep, and their specific duties can be split between two roles. The herder is the one who stays high on the mountain to watch and protect the sheep around the clock, and the camp tender is the other man who stays at the base camp to prepare meals and manage supplies. So what does that mean? Who f***ing knows? Jack is the herder. He'll eat supper and breakfast at the camp, but sleeps with the sheep 100%. No fire, no nothing. He can't leave a sign, and he's ordered to roll up the tent every morning in case the Forest Service snoops around. As for Ennis, the camp chicken tender, Fridays at noon he'll be down at the bridge with his grocery list and mules, and somebody with supplies will be there with a pickup. All I'm gonna say is these boys better be paid well with the way that JoJo Siwa treats them. I mean, damn, they didn't even get a hello. Hi, my name is. Joe just got out the car, walked in the trailer, and closed the door before shortly coming out to tell them to get their asses inside. And not just that, he doesn't even dismiss them after assigning roles. He just gives them the eye after picking up the telephone to let them know he's finished. Asshole. Anyway, Jack is finally the one to break the ice. Oh, by the way, just for reference, they are 19 years old here. They hit up a rinky-dink bar where Jack tells Ennis it's his second year working for Joe, sharing a story about the previous year when a storm happened and the lightning killed 42 sheep. Of course, Siwa got all over his ass like he was supposed to control the weather, but hey, this is better than Jack working for his father, who he can't please anyway, so that's why he started rodeo riding. As for Ennis, his parents died in a car accident, so his brother and sister raised him. They all grew up on a ranch. Jack's like, damn, that's hard. Do you need a kiss? One day while working, Jack's trying to show Ennis he knows how to ride it. Ennis is trying to tell him the horse has a low startling point, and Jack says he doubt there's a filly that could throw him off of this sucker. Okay, King. He said, he loved the way I ride it. We get a taste of this life the boys live, sheep herding. There are a lot of gorgeous shots, though admittedly I think that it adds unnecessary runtime. The film is already, 2 hours and 14 minutes? Look at Jack seeing his boo miles away, just wanting to be cuddled up with him under that nightlight. At breakfast, we learn both men are trying to save for a place of their own, when y'all need to be saving for a place together. But what do I know, right? And Ennis will soon be getting married to his fiance. Ah, there it is. Another day, Ennis comes across a big black bear that scares his horse and mule so bad that he gets knocked off of one, having to chase that sucker, which postpones supper. So when Jack arrives to the camp, Daddy isn't there. Daddy wasn't there. When Ennis arrives at nightfall, Jack's cussing up a storm because he's been starving. So take those boxers off, boy. It's like all he's had around this campfire is beans, which they have been tired of eating. And this is alluded to when Ennis handed a worker the grocery list, which had soup on it. But baby boy calms down when he sees blood on Ennis's forehead. Ennis tells him everything that happened, so Jack hands him whiskey upon request, then grabs a boiling rag from out the pot and tries to dab his forehead. But Ennis grabs it himself because it's getting a little too tender loving care in here. Jack suggests they shoot one of the sheep for food, but Ennis is worried Joe will find out. We're supposed to guard the sheep, Jack, not eat them. The next day, they successfully shoot a big elk.
Woo-wee! Yeah!
Getting tired of your dumbass missing.
Aww, look at them having dinner together. This is like my 5th time saying one day, one morning, I'm so sorry, you're just gonna have to get used to it. I apologize, that is just the nature of this film. Within these 2 hours and 14 minutes, we span across 20 years. One morning, Jack comes to camp complaining about commuting 4 hours a day, coming in for breakfast, going back to the sheep, even getting the sheep bedded down, then popping by again for supper. I ain't mad at you, nephew, that's a lot. Then after supper, he's gotta go back to the sheep, spend half the night checking for coyotes. Jojo Siwa has no right to make him do this. Because Ennis is a sweetheart, he tells old boy, if you want to switch, I don't mind sleeping out there. Should I try to emulate the cowboy accent throughout the video? I think I will, you know, why not? I've embarrassed myself enough on here. Jack's like, that's not the point. The point is we both ought to be in this camp, and that damn pup tent smells like cat piss. Again, Ennis says he's fine switching, but Jack warns that he can't cook worth a damn, but he is pretty good with the can opener. There is definitely symbolism in that line. Throughout the film, you will notice that Jack is the one to open the can of worms. He is the one that progresses this entire relationship. Anyway, they switch, and the following morning, while f***ing up breakfast, Ennis takes himself a hoe shower, while Jack tries his damn hardest not to look. I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I'm tired of watching these boys eat beans my damn self. Imagine how they feel. I just know they are farting 10 times an hour. The boys get chatting about the rodeo again when Jack flashes his belt and says that his father was a well-known bull rider, you know, as well as a man who kept a lot of secrets to himself. I bet that runs in the family. But when it comes to Jack in the Box, Daddy's never taught his son a thing and never once came to see him ride. Trauma. Ennis's siblings did the best they could raising him because all their parents left was $24 in a coffee can. Again, trauma. In 2026, $24 in 1963 translates to somewhere around $255. Homeboy wasn't much for high school, guys. Sister left and married a roughneck, and he and his brother got some work on a ranch until he was 19. Then the brother got married and there was no room for him, so that's why he's here. I am not really a Heath Ledger type, God rest his soul, but I will say he looks very scrumptious right here. Jack's staring his coworker down because that's more words than Ennis has ever spoken in the past last 2 weeks they've been on the job. Ennis is like, shit, that's the most I've spoken in a year. We know why the scenes are here. We not only have to establish some light backstory, but see this growing interest between the men. Ennis's father used to be a roper and hardly did bull rides because he thought men who did those were f***offs. Jack is like, the hell they are. Yeah! After a long day of working, Jack's playing the harmonica horribly, while Ennis struggles to put the tent together, saying it doesn't look right. During dinner, Jack screams some religious song saying that his mama believes in the Pentecost, which is when the world ends and fellas like Jack and Ennis march off to hell. And Ennis tells him, yeah, speak for yourself, nephew, because you may be a sinner, but I ain't yet had the opportunity. Oh, how I love a double entendre. They get drunk off their asses and Ennis is unable to check the sheep, so he asks for a blanket to lay outside. Jack is trying to warn this boy that when the fire dies, his dick is going to turn into a pink popsicle. Like, you might as well come cuddle with me in the tent. And you bet your daddy's sweet ass that motherfucker's shaking and huffing when the fire dies. Jack yells at him to quit your yammering and get in here. So he does. And I think another fire is about to start, friends. In the middle of the night, during a full moon at that, trigger warning, it's about to get gay as fuck. Jack wakes up, pulling the covers down, grabbing Ennis's hand and putting it over him, presumably over his dick, question mark? And then Ennis jumps up because what the fuck is going on here? Jack's grabbing all over him like, wait, this is what you want, this is what you need. Throwing his jacket off as a signal, Ennis is, Ennis is like, what are you doing? And they tussle a bit. Oh my God, the passion. It's been lingering. But none of these boys have been able to make a move. But I done told y'all, Jack is the can opener. All I'm gonna say is, that would hurt like hell. I'm sure that hardly any spit came out of his mouth. Just look at Jack pounding his fist on the ground because of the pain. It's like, I'm surprised Jack didn't paint on him. But yes, friends, that threshold has been passed and the affair has begun. Ennis wakes up first, not saying a word, and when Jack comes out to tell his top that he will have supper ready, Ennis doesn't even reply. Ain't shit. Post-nut clarity got you acting brand new, huh? Nah, Ennis, why we acting different? You was just inside my homeboy last night talking about some, come here. Like, what happened? What happened? In the distance, Ennis starts to hear the sheepdog barking, and upon arrival, one of the sheep are dead with its insides completely hollowed out. All because you were too busy f***ing Jack's brains out. You're fired! When Ennis finally decides to confront Jack about what happened, he tells his bottom that was a one-shot thing. Translation, no homo, bro. I'm cool with you, but don't do that around me. Like that last night I was drinking and I was somewhere else. So yeah, word. Like I don't I don't go like that. So, Jack tells him it's nobody's business but ours.
I ain't queer.
Me neither.
I love this next shot. At nightfall, we see Jack in the background shirtless, waiting for his man to come to bed, and Ennis does just that. Get up, leaving the fire to join him. The men kiss after a long beat as Ennis says, I'm sorry, and Jack tells him it's alright. The boys lay down together before Jack crawls on top of him and they continue kissing. We know what happened that night. Round 2. The next morning, through a pair of binoculars, we see the men wrestling around shirtless. Oh! And Jojo Siwa caught these homos in 4K. He trots down telling Jack that his mother wants to pass the message of his uncle Harold being sick in the hospital with pneumonia, and the doctors don't expect him to make it. A day or a few later, Ennis comes to camp learning that Jack's uncle didn't die after all. J-Baby's taken down the main tent on Jojo's orders because a storm's moving in from the Pacific. Worse than the one that they endured a couple nights ago, which I left out and did not show you. Oh yeah, mind you, it's the middle of August. Like the job is not done. Ennis is saying that Jojo's cutting him out a whole month's pay. Homophobia. Ennis is like, it ain't right. It ain't right. I can't do his voice. Jack offers a loan if Poppy's short on cash, but of course Ennis rejects, kicking snow, walking away to clear his head and be pouty. After Jack loads supplies on the horse so they can roll out, he goes up to Ennis with his cowboy rope, wrapping it around him, saying it's time to go home, sexy cowboy. And shortly after this, just for shits and giggles, he wraps the rope around Ennis again, but this time on his ankles, tripping him up. And the boys wrestle on the ground, but things quickly get aggressive because Jack accidentally knees Ennis in the nose. So he grabs him like, oh my god, baby, I'm so sorry. Come here, you're okay, you're okay. Yeah, you kind of deserve that, I'm not gonna lie. During a final check, Joe tells the men that some of the sheep never went up there with them, and the total count isn't what he hoped for either, calling these ranch stiffs useless. Like, first of all, listen here, fatty, how about you go home and your mother? During our boys' final goodbye, Jack asks Poppy if he's gonna do this again next summer. Ennis is like, perhaps not. As he said, him and Alma are getting married in November, so he'll probably just get something on the ranch. As for Jackie, he might go up to his daddy's place and give him a hand through the winter. Might be back to work for JoJo if the army doesn't get him.
I guess I'll see you around, huh?
Okay.
Heartbroken, child. He said, right. He said, I would have been mad too, I ain't gonna lie. You find something special like this again, I'm keep saying it, it's the 1963, they are in the boonies, and you find something special like this and it's taken away. Come on, man, you know? Jack drives away watching his man walk down the road through the mirror, looking like he's about to burst into tears. But he's not the only one, because Ennis has to pull over between these two buildings and he starts breaking down. Gagging, whimpering, banging on the wall. Then this random cowboy walks by and Ennis screams, "What the f*** are you looking at?" Jump to November where Ennis is getting married to our first supporting character, Alma. Somebody get Michelle some chapstick, pronto. After the priest tells Ennis, you may kiss the bride, he adds, if you don't, I will. Okay, bud, Alma is literally the age of your daughter. Shit, granddaughter. Like, let's not. On their honeymoon, they're living hashtag life, snowboarding down the hill, ain't that nice. Ennis works this whack-ass job plowing asphalt, co-workers talking his ear off when he'd rather be somewhere else, and we all know where he would rather be. When him and Alma go to a drive-in, we learn Alma has something cooking in her belly. Jack rolls up in the GMC to JoJo's around the same time asking if he's got any work, and Mr. Siwa says, you're wasting your time here, boy. But he specifically says, I ain't got no work for you. What do you mean by that? Jack's about to head out, but he turns, asking if Ennis has been around. And Fatty says, you boys sure found a way to make the time pass up there.
What you trying to say?
Do you have something to get off your chest? Joe tells Jack, y'all weren't getting paid to leave the dogs to babysit the sheep while you boys stemmed the rows. Now get the hell out of my trailer. Man, f*** you and your punk ass sheep hurting job. Nobody sweating you. Shoot, I got me a job ready. I would like, this was just extra, or extra change for my core payment. I ain't worried about it. Well, y'all got the game fucked up, you know what I'm saying? So I just like life is not all peaches and eggplants at home in the Delmar crib. They have two babies, Alma Jr. and Jenny. Life is pretty stressful, guys. After the kids are sent to bed, Alma asks if they could move into town because she's tired of these lonesome old ranches. But the rent is too high in town. She's trying her best to seduce him, saying they need a real home so, you know, like the girls can have somebody to play with and not be so lonely like Ennis was raised. LOL. And then they This is such an important detail. I cannot believe I did not point this out. I had to pull out my microphone. Typically, if I'm in post-production and there's something I want to add or something I didn't catch when I was watching the film, I'll just pull out my phone and do a little voice memo. But no, I had to get out the microphone for this. So as they are about to start making love, it starts off with Ennis over top of Alma, and she says, "Come here." And who said that earlier in the movie? So what does he do after this? He very aggressively flips her over on her stomach, just like he did Jack. Right. And he's about to go to Pound Town. And even though we are in the dark, in the shadows, we can see it on Alma's face. It's very much, you know, you don't want to make love to me. You don't want to look at me. You don't want to look at me. It's not funny. No, like that's crazy. Jack goes back to riding rodeos for change, but the change is cut short when he falls off a bull after 5 seconds. It's the 4th of July and Ennis takes his family out to see some fireworks, but these slime balls come in with their potty mouths, referring to women as pieces of pussy. One of Ennis's children starts crying. He tells these heathens to keep it down, and one of the guys is like, "You asshole." But where the guy messed up though was when he whispers to his buddy that Ennis probably quit giving it to his wife after his kids were born. So that tears it. Ennis hands the baby to Alma and stands up, telling these fatties, "Now I don't want any trouble, so you need to shut your slop bucket mouth. Do you hear me?" The pervs keep running their mouth, so Ennis the Menace throws one of them on the ground and kicks the other in the jaw. Damn! Right as the fireworks hit, screaming, "What about it? You want to lose half your fucking teeth?" Did y'all see that kick? Like, I'm a little turned on right now. I don't, you know. Jump to Jack's storyline, where our next character is a woman from right here in Texas. She barrel races, clocking in at 16.5 seconds, but her hat flies off and Jack catches it. This is Lorene. When he graciously gives this diva her cowgirl hat back, Lorene winks at him and rides off. That night at the bar, Jack tries to find out more about this girl from the bartender.
Ooh, if you're looking for me.
Who tells him her daddy sells big farm equipment, $100,000 tractors. Yeah. Bling, bling, bling. Bitches is mad. You know? Jackie must have been staring too hard because Lorene comes right over there asking if he's waiting for a mating call. I love a woman who makes the first act. She said, "You better act like you want this kitty cat, okay? Now get down and bark." After a nice slow dance, they pull into a secluded spot and, yeah, they get freaky. Some time passes as Ennis comes into Alma's job with their spawns, asking her boss, Monroe, where she's at.
She's in the condiments aisle.
The what?
Ketchup.
Thanks.
Love small, subtle things like that that tell you about a character. Ennis is here because his boss called and wants him up at the ranch, so he's pretty much dumping the kids on Alma even though she's in the middle of a shift and doesn't get off for another 3 hours. Where my belt at? Alma is freaking out, telling Monroe she'll clean this as soon as her sister picks up the kids, but he's smiling, telling her it's okay and he will clean it up. Nephew obviously has a crush on her. Jack and Lorene have a child of their own, a boy. I told y'all. Time flies. Her parents Fayette and LD come in. Faye come in talking about, we got you 120 cans of formula. Girl. And just to show you how much respect they have for Jack, LD says he left the formula in the car, tossing the keys at him saying, "Rodeo can go get them." Ennis comes home one evening to a postcard reading, "Friend, this letter is long overdue. Coming through on the 24th. Drop me a line. Say, if you're there. Jack." Again, just how a few scenes ago we saw that Ennis didn't know what condiments meant. It's the subtlety in these characters and showing how they are not fully educated. The lack of punctuation, the improper use of the word "your." All he responds on the card is, "You bet." On the 24th, you bet that son of a bitch smoking his tobacco with his beer, waiting by that window. After Alma brings up the idea of getting a babysitter, she starts asking about Jack and if they'll hit this local restaurant. Girl, why are you in gay people business? All Ennis says though is that they're just gonna go out and get drunk. Yeah, I bet you are. Much later, this Joker's on his 7th beer and the sound of a truck pulls up. Jack fucking Twist. They are so happy to see each other running into each other's arms. Remember they out in public though, so Ennis grabs him, slamming him against the wall and gives Jack the kiss of life. Oh God. Oh God. Wait. Talk about passion. Hold on. Passion. Baby, whatever this is, sign me up. What did the churn say today? Hashtag need that. Yeah. Do you guys ever just think about the power of love and how when you really... Miss Elmore. This is so fucked. Alma rushes inside the house, whole world shattered. And then these boys just, oh my God. Oh my God. Just look at them trying to control the heat. It's, cooling down. Everything's rushing back to the surface. This is always brought up when this film is discussed, but during the filming of this scene, they did so many takes of Heath throwing Jake up against this wall so hard and kissing him so hard that he almost, not quite, but almost broke Jake Gyllenhaal's nose. Ennis comes in the house as if him and this stranger didn't just smash their faces together, telling Alma they're going drinking. So up, and they might not be back tonight because when we get to talking and drinking and all. Cut to Bates Motel where the boys share a cigarette after sex. Imagine if they went to the Bates Motel and they got killed by Norman Osborn. Who? What? No, Norman Bates. Oh my God. It's been 4 years since these cowboys last saw each other. 4 years. Oh my God. So they're 22 now. The boys do some catching up. Ennis says how he thought he would never hear from Jack again. J-Baby talks about meeting Lorene and how he only made $2,000 the year after Brokeback bull riding and nearly starved. And no, the army did indeed, friends, not get Jack because he was too busted up from bull riding. Jack's like, I didn't think we were gonna get into this again. Boy, who am I kidding? I slammed on that gas pedal and bulldozed over here so quick.
What are we gonna do now?
I doubt there's nothing we can do.
It's the late 60s, guys. Making a living is all Ennis has time to do right now. The next day, Miss Almond is going through it. I'm gonna keep it a stack. I feel bad for Alma. Over top of them being a struggling family, you got this bland-ass, soul-sucking grocery store market job. Now your husband is pickling another man. She does not deserve that. All Ennis does when he returns home is say, hey, and then runs off, letting her know him and Jack are headed up the mountain for a day or two to fish. No hug, no kiss, no nothing. Alma goes to the window, seeing Jack outside waiting as Ennis starts packing a bag. So she's like, your friend could come inside and have a cup of coffee. Like, where his damn manners at? But Ennis chalks this up to Jack being from Texas. Oh, not he even grabbed the toothbrush. It's over, girl. It's, too far gone. Alma brings up the foreman, asking if Ennis is sure that he won't be fired for taking off, trying everything to make him question leaving. Ennis is like, I'll tell you what, that foreman owes me. I worked through that blizzard last Christmas, remember? Besides, it'll only be a couple of days. Alma Jr. runs out, telling Daddy, bring me a big fish, homo. Ennis gives her a quick kiss, handing her to Mommy, and says he'll see them Sunday at the latest. You ain't right, Ennis. You ain't right. What? Seriously, what do you do at this point? Neither of them make enough to live on their own separately, and they have, again, kids. God, The men go to Brokeback Mountain and strip, jumping off a cliff, butterball naked with their pink sausages flapping around. I'm pretty sure Heath actually did this, but Jake got a stunt double because who the hell is that? At night, another full moon is out, so some freak shit about to go down. And we get a campfire scene. Not gonna lie, y'all, I was getting flashbacks to my own private Idaho, which is one of my favorite videos I have done on this channel. Check it out if you have not already.
Two guys can't love each other. I could love someone even if I, wasn't paid for it. I love you and you don't pay me.
It could be like this, just like this always.
God. Okay. Oh my God. Oh my God. After Ennis is like, what are you talking about, Willis? Jack says, what if me and you got a little ranch somewhere? A cow and calf operation. It'd be a sweet life. I'm sorry, this is actually so cute. Jack notions that Lorene's old man would probably give him a down payment to get lost, and he more or less already set it up. But Ennis says, no, I done told you it's not gonna be that way. You got your wife and baby in Texas, and I got my life in Riverton. Bottom line is, no pun intended,
right.
When the boys are around each other, and this thing grabs hold of them at the wrong time and the wrong place. I'm so sorry. I need to perfect my Ennis voice. If this thing grabs a hold of them at the wrong time in the wrong place, then they're both dead. Ennis tells Jack a story about there being two older guys ranched up together down home named Earl and Rich. They were the joke of the town even though they were tough old birds. Earl was found dead in an irrigation ditch after some guys took a tire iron to him, dragged him around by his dick until it pulled off. And through all of this, we see little 9-year-old Ennis and his brother being shown the body by his father. How evil do you have to be to go out of the way to show a child this? to show your child this, all to prove a point so they don't grow up to be a homosexual. Ennis says there's just no way that two guys can live together. You know, we can get together once in a while out in the middle of nowhere. Then Jack cuts him off like once in a while, every 4 fucking years. He needs that dick every week. But it's gotta go on for as long as they can ride it because there aren't any reins on this one, homies. More time passes as we see Alma Jr. and Jenny have gotten bigger, and Ennis and Alma's relationship has only gotten smaller. We can hear Ennis going off on Alma for going to work because the girls need to be fed. They come out the house cussing, mess. When we meet Jack again, he's become a salesman for LD's farm equipment. One day Alma finds another postcard from J-Baby about seeing each other in a few weeks, where the fish will be jumping. When it's packing time, Jack comes in Lorene's office asking if she's seen his blue parka. She makes a point of how Jack's gone up to Wyoming all these years, and why can't homeboy come down here to Texas and fish? But not only are the Bighorn Mountains not in Texas, but Ennis's pickup probably wouldn't even make it down here. Jack's drive from Texas to Wyoming is 14 hours. Driving 14 hours for some dick is crazy.
Bitches know they can't catch me.
Oh my god, Jack, like, is it that good? Their marriage is also crumbling because there's a brief miscommunication between getting their son Bobby a tutor. While Ennis is packing a bag, Alma tells him there's an opening for an electrician job, which he brushes off. Oh yikes, and this next part speaks volumes. Ennis grabs everything heading for the door, and Alma is, she's sitting at the table. She's like, you forgetting something? The damn fishing equipment is sitting right on the table. Shaking my damn head. At least play the part right, Ennis. Come on. One night while getting freaky, Ennis is about to slide the salami in Alma, but she says as behind as they are with bills, she would rather take precautions. She don't want none of Jack Nasty's booty hole DNA in her coochie.
If you don't want no more of my kids, I'll be happy to leave you alone.
Uh-oh. I'm not gonna lie, she got him right back because right after this, she says, I would have them if you would support them. Now that's a read. And because of that, he gets off of her and she cuts the light off. We jump further in time. It's November 6, 1975, and the divorce is being finalized. Our defendant, Ennis the Menace, is ordered to pay child support in the sum of $125 per month for each of the children until they reach the age of 18. Woo, baby. $125 in 1975 is $781. So Ennis has to pay over $1,500 in child support. I'm so happy they got divorced though, because what's the point? It was pretty much over when she caught Ennis smashing faces with Jack. Let's keep it G. We see Jack enter Wyoming whistling to himself, pulling into Ennie's place. J-Baby came down because he heard about the divorce. Then Ennis introduces his male lover to his churn, Alma Jr. and Jenny, who are now preteens. Jack says he had to ask 10 people to find out where Ennis lives, and he thought that this meant, he trails off, and my mind went two directions. Either he thought that meant Ennis was dead, or he thought that Ennis wanted nothing to do with him anymore. I'm not sure which one he meant. Mr. Top Bunk apologizing that he's got the girls this weekend and only gets them once a month, and he missed the last month because of the roundup. Oh boy, Jack's feelings are hurt, guys. Can we blame him? I mean, I drive 14 hours. Jump through hoops to find out where you live because you didn't even bother to tell me. And when I get down here, you tell me that you got your kids for the weekend. Oh yeah, no, I'm raising hell. Jack says, I'll see you next month then. Zooming out of there, and he cries in the car to himself. Jackie puts some miles on that truck, boy, because he goes all the way down to the Mexican border looking for some dick. And on the cruising block, dick he indeed finds, walking into the shadows. This next scene I love. It is my favorite moment in the entire film. It's now Thanksgiving and Jack brings in the turkey, but this fat duck LD stands up saying the stud duck does the carving around here, taking the utensils out of his hand. One, is the stud duck in the room with us? Two, just so everybody has a reference here, we are in Jack and Lorene's house. Would you let your father-in-law talk to you like that inside your own house? Their son Bobby is much older and his eyes are glued to the telly watching football, so Lorene tells him if he doesn't eat his dinner, she's gonna turn it off. Bobby is like, bitch, you need to chill out because I'm gonna be eating this food for the next 2 weeks, mama. Then Jack gets up, standing by his woman, cutting the TV off, telling this little shit he can watch after dinner. Oof, let it begin. LD takes it upon himself to walk over to the TV and cut it back on. Didn't I just, and y'all saw me, and then right. LD says Bobby doesn't eat with his eyes, telling Lorene, you want your boy to grow up to be a man, don't you? What the f does that have to do with anything? LD says boys should watch football, and Jack replies, not until he finishes eating his meal that his mama took 3 hours to fix, cutting the TV back off. I think we know what this man is about to do. As soon as Jack sits down, LD starts heading towards the TV.
You sit down, you old son of a bitch! This is my house, this is my child, and you are my guest. You sit down before I knock your ignorant ass into next week.
Woo! Right here, Jack. Yep, that's what I'm talking about, boy. When I tell you the black man jumped out of Jack, he says, stop fucking playing with me. Lorene's face says everything. Stand by your man, girl. LD sits his old ass right on down as Lorene gives Bobby the nod because he know what to do. As for the Delmars, well, I can't say that anymore because they're divorced. Oh, and Alma is also in a relationship with her manager, Monroe. So there's that. Although no longer married, they do come together to have a nice Thanksgiving for the girls. Afterwards, while Alma's doing the dishes, Ennis comes in with his dirty plate, and the ex-wife tells her closeted ex-husband he ought to get married again because she and the girls worry about him. And then why would you do this? You're trying to start something. Alma brings up Jack Twist asking if they still go fishing, shaking her head like, I always wondered why you never brought any trouts home when you said you caught plenty and you know me and the girls like fish.
Molly, you in danger, girl.
Alma, you on thin ice, girl. You better tread carefully. She tells him how one day she got his Creel case open before he went on one of his trips. Saw it still had the price tag on it after 5 years. So she took it upon herself to tie a note to the end of the line that said, bring some fish home, love Alma. And then what happens? Ennis comes home all perky saying he caught a bunch of browns, but he ate them all up. At this point, she is raggedly breathing, saying she looked in the case first chance she got, and her note was still tied in there. That doggone line hadn't touched water in its life. That don't mean nothing. Don't you try to fool me no more. I know what it means. Oh my God, I was getting so scared for her. I probably haven't seen this movie in 7 years, and I couldn't remember if he actually put his hands on her in this kitchen, but they start heavy breathing. Alma, keep going. She's like, you are poking the bear. Jack Twist. Jack Nasty. Ennis snatches her arm saying, you don't know anything about that, so shut your mouth. And Alma threatens to yell for Monroe.
I'll make you make the fucking floor.
Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out! Yes! That was so good! She killed it! Wow!
Oh my God, Michelle and Heath acted their ass off in this scene. Hey, yo, I'm mad I didn't put this in there. Monroe, you a bitch. You hear your woman in the kitchen screaming at the top of her lungs, fighting with her ex-husband. You hear dishes moving around, cabinets, a bunch of scrap, and you still sitting down. Man, you a punk. Ennis storms out while the girls chase him, trying to say bye, but he ignores them and rides into town by a bar, almost getting hit by a car. This truck slams on the brakes, screaming at this a-hole to watch where he's going. Yeah, Poppy is in crash out mode. Ennis goes to the window and starts punching this dude in the face, but ends up on the ground, gets slammed against the truck, and we fade out while he's continuously getting punched in his shit. Pick your battles wisely, guys. While Ennis is out one night at a bar, we meet a girl named Cassie, played by the fabulous Linda Cardellini. Velma from the live-action Scooby-Doo. Hello! I'm still upset about Freaks and Geeks only getting 1 season. This girl is Ennis's fling for a while, and she persuades him to come to the floor and dance. At another joint, Jack and Lorene sit at a table with Jim Hopper and Cindy Campbell. Oh my God, I forgot Anna and David were in this. They play LaShawn and Randall. LaShawn for a white woman? Yeah, I don't know, y'all. Y'all, you might as well have casted a sister. LaShawn is talking everyone's ear off about her sorority and how her and Randall moved here a month ago because Randall got the foreman job at a ranch. What's funny is that LaShawn brings up to Lorene how their husbands aren't the least bit interested in dancing.
Husbands don't never seem to want to dance with their wives.
So to break the ice, Jack asks LaShawn if she wants to dance, respectfully asking Randall for his blessing. Even while walking away, we can hear LaShawn yapping. Jack and Randall hang outside the joint when the party's over and J-Baby asks if Randall likes working for Roy Taylor's ranch. He does. Randall tells him that Roy owns a little cabin down on Lake Kemp. It's got a crappy house, little boat.
Said I could use it whenever I want. We ought to go down there some weekend.
Oh my gosh! Oh!
He's like, drink a little whiskey, fish some, would you do it? Comment down below. Jack doesn't even give Randall a response because LaShawn comes out with Lorene, so the offer is left in the air. The boys are back to hanging out on Brokeback Mountain, and Jack's telling Ennis, homie, you had all this time and ain't found nobody else to marry? But Ennis tells him he's been putting the blocks to a good-looking little gal over in Riverton. A waitress who wants to go to nursing school or some, I don't know. Damn, he wasn't even listening to her. What do you mean, I don't know? You don't care, dude. You just want some pussy. Jack says Lorene is good at making deals on machines for the business, but as far as their marriage goes, they could do it over the phone. Damn. Opening up himself about his own thing he's got going on with the ranch foreman's wife, and he expects to get shot by Lorene or LaShawn's husband each time he slips off to see her. I'm very curious if he is actually talking about LaShawn or if he is just hiding the fact that he is sleeping with another man and it's actually Randall he's talking about. Jack starts getting serious though, and he tells Poppy, you know, I'm gonna keep it G.
Sometimes I miss you so much I can hardly stand it.
They cuddle that night and by morning pack to hit the road. Second favorite scene in the film. Ennis has something to get off of his chest, guys. It'll most likely be November before Daddy can come out here again. Let the melodrama begin. Jack tells this trick he had a week to say something about this. Walking away like, why are we always in the freaking cold? You know, we ought to go somewhere south where it's warm, like Mexico. Ennis ain't going to no damn Mexico though. He don't even leave Wyoming. He tries to get his boo to lighten up, saying they can hunt in November and kill him a nice elk. I love this shot in front of Jack, how we pan across him and see Ennis in the background. Also, this line is just fantastic.
There's never enough time, never enough.
Jack whips around telling his friend, this is a goddamn bitch of an unsatisfactory situation. It used to come easy, and now it's like trying to see the Pope. Ennis argues, you know, I gotta work, homie. I'm not a kid no more. I'm not 19, 20. I can't just quit the job. A player's got bills, and he tells Jack that Jack doesn't know what it's like to be broke all the time. He can't get the time off. He's got child support, damn it. He asks Jack Nasty if he's got a better idea, and with glassy eyes, J-Baby says, I did, once. Ennis the Menace walks up asking if Jack's been down to Mexico because he's heard what they got for boys like him. Jack is like, hell yes, I've been to Mexico. Is that a problem? Ennis curls that already thin lip, lowering his voice because he's only gonna say this one time. Jack twist. All them things that I don't know will get you killed if I come to know them. Then he pushes Ennis, and I'm not gonna lie, yeah, we would have started scrapping right there. I don't know. Take your coat off and let's run it, because we can listen, we can do this back and forth all day, but when you touch me, we gonna have to box. So yeah, I feel like he is alluding to Jack catching some type of STD or something down, but there is also, and I'm gonna say this, there also seems to be like this hint of racism with the whole talk of Mexico, and I don't like it. You know, oh, you going down there to those colored folks, you gonna bring some disease up here or make me catch it. I don't know. Or it could just be that Ennis does not want him messing with any man, period. But it's fine if he messes with women, and it's also fine if you mess with other women. Wrap it up.
We could have had a good life together. Real good life. But you didn't want it, Ennis. So what we got now is Brokeback Mountain.
Both of these men are acting their asses off. Everything they've got is built on this mountain. And J-Baby can hardly count the few times they've been together in nearly 20 years. And then, you know, you got the nerve to tell homeboy that you will kill him for needing something that he hardly gets. Jack tells this fellow closet case, you have no idea how bad it gets. You know, I can't just make it on a couple of high altitude once or twice a year.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Ennis is full on crying at this point, telling Jack, "Why don't you just let me be then? It's your fault I'm like this, Jack, that I'm nothing, that I'm nowhere." Jack tries to hold him while he breaks down, but Ennis pulls the "get the f*** off me!" and they drop to the ground. There's a flashback to the earlier days of Brokeback. Moments of seeing these two boys embrace one another and just be. Ennis tells his baby he'll see him in the morning, hopping on his horse, and after cutting back to present day, Ennis is driving off to return home while Jack stays behind, watching. Some time passes and Ennis sits alone inside a restaurant when Cassie and her new man walk in. Yes, they broke up. Ennis pretty much ghosted this girl, the perpetrator yet again. Cassie asks where this guy has been, and this cold-hearted says, "Here and there." You really do it to yourself, Ennie. Cassie starts tearing up, letting this man know she left a word for him with Steve at the ranch. And more than that, she left notes at his place. Ennis makes a jab at her new boyfriend, Carl, and Cassie sits down like, "Yes, I do indeed have a new man." And you know what he does? He talks.
Good for you.
May everybody watching this video right now never encounter a man like Ennis Delmar in their life. This sorry ass apologizes saying, "I was probably no fun anyways." And Cassie tells him that girls don't fall in love with fun before running out. Another day, Ennis hits the post office, finding a postcard he sent to Jack, returned right back to him with the deceased stamp over it. Whew, okay. Here we go, guys. Gay trauma. Lorene, in yet another Dolly Parton blonde wig, answers a telecall from Ennis. She admits she would have told him what happened sooner, but didn't know his name or address. The story goes that Jack was pumping up a flat on the truck out on a back road when the tire blew up, and the rim of the tire slammed into his face, breaking his nose and jaw, knocking him unconscious on his back. And by the time somebody came along, he had drowned in his own blood. Bullshit. Now, through this, while Lorene tells us one story, in Ennis's mind, we see visuals of a group of men beating the shit out of Jack. Our baby was only 39 years old. The body was cremated, half kept with Lorene and half with his folks. She mentions how he used to say he wanted his ashes scattered on Brokeback Mountain, but she didn't know where it was. After Ennis tells her Brokeback was where they herded sheep back in '63, for a very, very brief second, we almost see a breakthrough with Lorene as her eyes get glassy.
Well, he said it was his favorite place.
Oh, she knew. Ennis apologizes for her loss, saying they were good friends, and Lorene tells this stranger to get in touch with Jack's folks because they'd appreciate if their son's wishes were carried out. And then she just hangs up. Ennis drives all the way to Jack's childhood home where his parents still live. Inside, everything is white and depressing. Ennis gives his condolences, saying he came to ask for Jack's ashes to scatter up on Brokeback. His punk-ass daddy talking about, oh, Jack thought he was too special to be buried in the family plot. This is not the time. This is so heartbreaking. Mr. Twist tells him how Jack had a half-baked notion over the years that he was gonna move up here with his friend Ennis Delmar, build a cabin, and help run the place. Then one spring came around and Jack told his father that he found another friend to do the exact same thing. Move up here, build a cabin, start a ranch. It was some neighbor from down in Texas who was gonna split up with his wife and come back here. He's talking about Randall, which tells us what? That Jack finally took him up on that offer. But like most of Jack's ideas, my friends, they never come to pass. Miss Twist kept his childhood room as it was when he was a boy, telling Ennis that he's welcome to go up. Now inside the closet, Ennis finds the shirt that Jack wore the final day on Brokeback in '63. But you know what else? Ennis's shirt is under it, and they both have blood on the sleeve. When Ennis comes downstairs, Miss Twist gives him a paper bag, and Mr. Twist says Jack's remains are going in the family plot. Another day in the trailer park where Ennis now lives, a 19-year-old Alma Jr. visits, rolling up in her pimp ride. Okay, mama in the 228, go on ahead. It's her boyfriend Kurt's car, by the way, who she assumed to be married to, and that's why she's here. This girl is only 19 years old, and she has known this Kurt boy for only a year. Of course, when she asks Ennis to be part of the wedding, he says that he's gotta work, but then pours a drink for both of them like, psych, lol. Okay, but why are we pouring her a drink Again, 19, and she is in the car driving by herself. When Alma Jr. leaves, Ennis sees that she left her sweater, so he folds it, kisses it, and opens his closet to hang it up. And on the closet door, we see Jack and Ennis's shirts hung up with a postcard of a Brokeback Mountain. Not the wire hanger though, Ennis. Come on now. Ennis Delmar, with glassy eyes, buttons up the shirt, closes the closet, and we fade out. You know, as much as I want to sit in front of this camera and bash the out of Ennis Delmar, call him a piece of shit, call him the villain of everybody around him, he is, after all, the protagonist, and there is a level of empathy that you have to have with this character. This man is a profound study of how childhood trauma and societal fear can freeze one into a self-imposed emotional paralysis. I know I say this term a lot, but it's a classic for a reason. This is a tale as old as time. In modern times, the mainstream gay community would refer to Ennis's character as DL Trade.
But imagine how tired we are. Imagine how tired we are of it.
Y'all know how I am on here. I'm gonna keep this shit real. I am not a fan of non-black people using either one of those terms, and I know that they are being used in a serious manner. It gets under my skin because everybody is constantly taking shit from us. Like, damn, can we have anything? It's bad enough y'all snatched the vernacular and personalities of black women. The story Ennis tells Jack one night about his father taking him and his brother to see the dead body of a local queer man who was the result of a hate crime is our primary puzzle piece here. That event single-handedly shaped the fear that followed him the rest of his life. I wouldn't say society is the antagonist here, but more so the terror society implants inside of people. So imagine finding a job at 19, being a sheltered introvert with a secret, and you spend weeks with someone who turns out to be exactly like you. What are the odds? The mountain is a high-altitude sanctuary where those two boys could be themselves, while the valley surrounding is the suffocating performance of heteronormativity and traditional family life. Ennis is an Irish origin name that means island. Delmar is a Spanish term meaning of the sea. So when you put it together, what do you get? Island of the sea. The name of a man who is isolated, shifting like tides and ultimately unreachable.
I don't get you, Ennis Delmar.
The departure from Brokeback in 1963, when Ennis broke down, was his gut punch. The first time we see the physical weight of the repression he's been carrying around. And what makes it more effective is that it's not sad, it's violent. Heath improv'd punching the building, by the way. So what is this actually? Is he clutching his stomach because he's poisoned by the fact that he can't be with Jack? Is the wired part of his brain telling him that he's sick and he's disgusting and he shouldn't have did this to Alma, who he's about to marry? We are watching a frustrated man unable to process his emotions.
What the f*** are you looking at? Huh?
Jack Twist, the boy who triggered Ennis's reflection. Anybody else think that his last name is not a coincidence? What's the opposite of a straight line? A twisted one. Jack is the proactive one between our leads. He's the one constantly trying to twist their situation into something more permanent or sustainable. The dreams of the men having their sweet little ranch.
You know, it could be like this. Just like this, always.
When he took that hot rag to wipe the blood off Ennis's head post falling off the horse, that was Jack soft launching this affair, a brief signal to Ennis that he can drop his guard around him. When he put Ennis's arm around him the night of the full moon, how he made Ennis confront what no one wants to say, how Jack was the one to reach out via postcard, how Jack is the one driving 14 hours just to spend a weekend with this guy. guy. After Ennis and Alma's divorce, Jack went out the way to ask 10 different people where this man lived. He is doing all of the heavy lifting here. My God, the lack of effort from this guy is fucking crazy. I will be damned straight to hell if I ever let a man play in my face like Ennis did with Jack. I don't view Ennis as a straight man, but somebody who is hidden deeply inside the closet. Like, there are closets within closets that you have to access before reaching Ennis. So with this relationship, although Jack is also closeted, it's very evocative of the gay man chasing after the straight man. Again, we know that story. Oh my God, I really want better for this community. It breaks my heart to see people lowering their value and their self-worth, all for some short-lived attention of a man with a wife or a girlfriend or whatever. And this comes down to being a power thing. The gay person feels like they hold power over this straight guy because, oh, I know your secret. I know that you secretly get turned on by guys. So they take on this mistress role and they create scenarios in their head of this straight guy leaving their girlfriend or their wife or whoever. It's pathetic. And I wish that more gay men in this situations would wake up and realize that they are just being used. Jack Twist does not deserve any of this. He deserves a man who will show up and who will put in just as much effort as he does. And what a shame that Randall couldn't fill the gap that Ennis left. Even when we see Randall make a pass inviting Jack to Roy Taylor's cabin and how Jack just sat there frozen, I'm sure it was out of shock, but I mainly feel it was because of his feeling towards Ennis. There is an attachment there. How could it not? Ennis was the first man that Jack ever had something special with. And I think that we would all cling to an experience like that. Attachment is real, and that shit hurts when you find yourself in a situation being pulled by a leash that you don't have the power to take off.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love is a crazy thing, guys. I've always said that heartbreak builds character, and I think Jack definitely would have carried this experience with him throughout the rest of his life, and I'd hope he would never let somebody treat him the way Ennis did. As for time, now that is one bitch right there. I still cannot wrap my head around 4 years passing from the first encounter up until the boys first reunite. Although time moves quick, and I think that we can attest to that, that is a long time. It explains why there's so much passion with Jack when he arrives back in Wyoming, how hard Ennis kissed Jack, and we sit for a second as Jack realizes that Ennis has been thinking and wanting him just as much. Those feelings are still there. Oh my God, and Jack kisses him just as hard back. It's the like the passion. Both Jake and Heath give incredible performances, and those moments of heat before the fire, even after, the hunger, the come down. Oh my God. So our film's narrative spans 20 years, and the passage of time does what it does best: drift people apart. And it doesn't help that the men live states away, 14 hours away from each other. And through these years, Jack's constantly reminding Ennis that they could do this, but could they? Mr. Twist and Lorene have made comments about how Jack lives in his head, his ideas, his notions. You have to see things in your head before bringing them into fruition. So I can't knock him for dreaming, for visualizing. Realistically, through a socioeconomic lens, both of our men are dirt poor and at the mercy of seasonal labor. Alma even tries to persuade Ennis to move into town, and if his wife can't make him move somewhere, what would make you think Jack could? The lack of financial mobility absolutely contributes to this inability to build a life together. It's all about timing. If Had this been 4-5 decades later, they would have had a better chance. But instead, they both follow the American West route and live the expected life. Job, wife, kids. But it doesn't work. There was just no way in hell mid-20th century rural America was gonna allow this. Happiness here comes from conformity. What's really sad is that there are still towns like this, no matter how many eyes have awakened to the fact that there are gay people, there are trans people in the world. They're not going anywhere. If money was no issue for Ennis and Jack, they could have taken a bag and ran to the city, out of the countryside that they know. But when you inhibit traits of the cowboy, when you're uneducated,
She's in the condiments aisle.
What?
Ketchup.
when all you know is this, moving to a big city is only something you dream about. Although I briefly critique the long drawn-out landscape visuals throughout the film, the reality is that it's necessary. We need to see the contrast to the wide, desaturated world back home. There, of course, needs to be a separation between Brokeback and home life. That mountain is damn near a character. It's symbolic. That getaway was where the boys could be free, jump off cliffs, run around, be honest around campfires, reveal their desires they'd never tell anyone, be intimate at bedtime, and show a different version of love. It's their own little world. And off the mountain, there are roles, repressions, silence. Nature becomes the only space where truth is allowed to exist. The spiritual connection between humans and nature is a cornerstone of almost every major philosophical and religious tradition. I'd say generally it centers on this idea that nature isn't just a backdrop for human life, but a mirror for the soul and a conduit for the divine. There's something really special that happens when you spend time in nature, feeling your feet planted in the grass, grounding yourself to this rotating ball that we live on, this big stream of water that the camp tent is set by. I have mentioned the role and the significance of water many times across some of my videos, specifically the ones where I bring up magic or the craft. Water is a very powerful and emotional element. The prefrontal cortex of our brains that's used for focus and problem solving takes the back seat to rest and recharge. The fresh air, the plants, trees, mountains. It's peaceful and a mental refresher. This wilderness is where these two men can breathe, where they can sit in silence without needing to talk because they understand. Long pauses, minimal dialogue, and restrained performances say more than words. These men feel deeply but can't communicate clearly in the long run. And it's not distance but emotional suppression that ultimately destroys them. Silence is both protection and a prison, specifically for Ennis. I have to give Lorene and Alma grace because they are essentially cover-ups for these men's sexualities, and neither of these women deserve this. Ennis got involved in a relationship with Alma to live the life he was taught to. I think that you could also argue Ennis is bisexual, and I'm gonna argue against that because other than seeing the passage of time when we are first introduced to Alma, does Ennis actually look like he is in love with this woman? Serious question. He's not. He just has kids with her and they have sex for release. I think going back to what Ennis's father showed him when he was a child and the repercussions of living this specific lifestyle scared him so bad that he pushed it all down. Another example is with Cassie. He got involved with her partly to see if he could actually fall in love with a woman. Maybe try this whole thing a second time, and look what happened with that. We find out he completely ghosted this girl for no reason. Why? Because he is not emotionally or sexually attracted to women. That wall has already came down. He knows what he wants, but also knows he can't openly be himself. As for Jack, his case is the strongest here, and while it makes no goddamn sense with what I just said, we hardly see aspects of his life, specifically with Lorene. We do not see intimate moments with them other than the screwing in the car the night that they first met. Every scene with this couple emulates energy evocative of a jaded marriage. He doesn't show any type of affection or tenderness with Lorene because she is a cover-up. Not just for his sexuality, but on some real shit, Jack could have been using Lorene, knowing that she comes from money. Remember, this guy is dirt poor and vocalized how he didn't want to go back to working for his dad. He couldn't go back to Joe because #no homos allowed. So imagine you meet an attractive woman and she goes out of the way to pursue you. Oh, and daddy is dripping in coin. That's an easy gateway to live a comfortable life. It would have been very interesting if there was a scene or a little moment where we question if Lorene was also cheating on Jack with another man. Maybe she shares her speculations with him. She thinks her husband is gay, and perhaps that is one of the catalysts for Jack being killed, because Jack being gay is just a rumor. But what if it got out? Or what if Lorene was in on it? Gasp! In a 2010 interview on the national public radio program Fresh Air, Anne Hathaway told interviewer Terry Gross she has no idea whether or not Lorene tells the truth in the phone conversation with Ennis about Jack's death. They shot 2 main takes of that scene, one where Lorene knows about the affair, about the gay bashing, and one where she has no idea and genuinely thinks that this was just a freak accident. And instead of using either, both takes were cut together for the final edit. Anne never directly asked Ang Lee because the ambiguity is the strength of that scene and what's so heartbreaking about it. I'm sure this movie is not the first to do it, but my mind cannot help to go to this film that came out 5 years before Brokeback, American Psycho, and it uses the same tactic. There's a scene where Willem Dafoe's character, Detective Donald Kimball, questions Patrick Bateman about the murder of Pat's associate. 3 main takes of that scene were done. One where Kimball didn't think Patrick was a killer, one where he wasn't sure, and one where he knew Patrick was guilty. And all 3 of them were cut together to confuse the audience. For Brokeback though, I can absolutely see both. Remember, I pointed out that breakthrough after Ennis revealed Brokeback Mountain was the place him and Jack went all these years. It's confirming something that she perhaps speculated, but with her coldness and directness of retelling the story of the tire iron and how she ends the phone call so simply, there's no warmth. It all seems so rehearsed. I don't think she had a role in orchestrating his death, nor do I think that there is anything suspicious happening here, but I do believe that she knew who Jack was and why he was killed. Lorene's version may be the truth, or it may be the story she told herself and the world to maintain her dignity and protect her family from scandal. It makes you think about all the women around the world who had children with men who didn't give a damn about them. It breaks my heart. When kids are added into the equation, things just get 10 times more messier, because a lot of the time people like to use kids as anchors to fix things, to keep things together. The scene with LaShawn making the reference of how men don't like to dance with their wives is brilliant. One thing about me, I love a double entendre when characters make a reference or a metaphor that has multiple meanings under the hood. And I don't even need to get into all of that. Everybody knows that dancing is a euphemism for sex.
Okay, asshole. Let's dance.
The final touch with this unspoken love between our 2 male leads is shown when Ennis goes in Jack's childhood bedroom and in the closet discovers Jack kept their shirts from that first summer tucked inside one another. It's explicitly acknowledged from Ennis in the book how upset he is that he left a shirt back on Brokeback, but in the film, you have to piece it together. These shirts are the ones they wore when they had their first physical fight, and Ennis's nose gushed blood. We aren't shown Ennis taking that shirt shirt off, but with it being in this closet, it's alluded that Jack stole it as a memory. And I'm sure he did it because he probably thought he would never see Ennis again, and he wanted to hold on to that memory, that moment in time, so badly that he didn't bother to wash the blood off. By keeping the shirts, Jack was preserving the only part of Ennis he could truly own. In a time and place where they could never be together openly, the blood was the only permanent physical evidence of their union, the punch-drunk nature of their love. Painful, inseparable. But this is where it gets good, because when Ennis finds it, his plaid shirt is tucked inside of Jack's, which is telling us what? Jack wanted to keep Ennis inside of him as a secret. When Ennis takes it back to his trailer, hanging it up in his closet, and Diana Osana, one of the screenwriters, she said that this was Heath's idea. His plaid shirt is put over Jack's denim. So now we see Ennis is protecting Jack, watching over him. You really don't understand what you have until it's gone. Or no. Let me be specific. You don't understand who you have until they are gone. Since Ennis can't fulfill Jack's wish of being scattered on Brokeback because Mr. Twist is adamant about burying his son in the family plot, essentially reclaiming him in death and refusing to acknowledge the significance of the mountain or Jack's relationship with this man, Ennis creates a minimal shrine, allowing Jack to finally rest. The very last line of the film is Ennis saying, wow, an open-ended line that gives you no direct answer, but my God, is it fitting for this protagonist of few words. I interpret this as Ennis swearing to never forget Jack, to never forget that summer in 1963, doing that pointless sheep herding job when those two 19-year-old boys met. Jack ignited something deep in Ennis he never would have found the key to unlock, and the added tragic layer of having it hung in the closet and watching Ennis close it.
Oh my God, I can't get out. Oh my God.
This movie is so fucking sad. Like, damn, gay people can never be happy. Ennis Del Mar, the island of the sea, finally finds the courage to swear his devotion only when there's no one left to hear it. Jack, I swear, is more than a promise of remembrance. It's a surrender. In the silence of his trailer, the man who spent his life refusing to belong to anyone finally belongs entirely to a ghost. What are your thoughts on Brokeback Mountain? Drop your take down below. If you're new here, consider subscribing. I would love to have you. It would be my pleasure. Hit that like button, it helps me out a lot. And turn on the bell notification so you don't miss a new video. If you want to see the extended version of this video, head over to the Patreon and join the family. We're fully uncensored there, extended commentary, and you also get to see my videos 24 to 48 hours before they hit YouTube. In the meantime, my friends, take care of your mind, take care of your body, and take care of your spirit.